Okay, hi Mr. Ha, we're back again, Fallon here. I've got the moustache hamster as well due to popular demand, aka my own popular demand, because I remember Lisa wouldn't stop giggling at it and found it hilariously cute. Anyway, I'm doing a vlog today because there's been a lot of questions, a lot of what abouts, this, that and the other, and I've been also asked to demonstrate something which came up in the discussion in chat called the R snap, which is probably related to the Z snap, but you know, I'll get to that bit at the end. Anyway, a lot of questions, a lot of curiosities. I'm going to start with the more scars orientated ones, and you know, because that's to me is a good place where to start and progressively go through them, with the occasional break in with some silly ones. Always looking for more questions, so if you have any other questions, do ask. Anyway, questions. Vanessa and Perplexity both asked me scars related stuff. Vanessa asked, why did Fallon start the scars? For those who actually do know, Fallon didn't start the scars, which is a bit, I think, well, you've been leading it for a year, you've essentially let it from the word go. Fallon, as I see it, would be counted as a founding member, but the original leader was a person called Hound, otherwise known as Shroud, otherwise known as Renmei, who we won't talk about anymore. That's it that you mentioned. Fallon took over, and I was doing a lot of the background out of character work to keep it floating, writing up the structure, writing up how things were. So when he tottered off, it made logical sense to take over, and I kept it going for a year until it finally drove me mad. Yes, mad. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's a lot of work. Perplexity then asked, where do you see her going now that the Scars are disbanded? Well, we're running away to Saltiva. Hey, I see you in spring. How's it going? Fallon will probably take a lot more relaxing backseat, which will be kind of nice for me because running a gang again was very hard work and stressful. But she'll be mellowing out. I'm hoping that she'll get back to her more scholarly seeker-based interests, you know, knowledge over violence, looking to do things, learning, and sort of an element of recovery. Because the last year has been essentially been traumatic. But that's about it. Fallon will probably calm down, and I have a plan, but I'm not allowed to talk about the plan. So you're gonna have to wait and see about that one. Next ones, there's a load from Perplexity gave me a load, and then the rest of you guys also gave me a load. So, who has been the most influential in Fallon's life so far? I'm going to guess this is from an IC point of view. I'm trying to decide, is that more the present day thing or a past thing, because that has multiple answers. In the early past, if you really want to start at the beginning, the most influential you could say was Zandelia, because Fallon and Zan both knew each other when they were very small, very young, before Zan broke out of their confinement. Both of them got free. Fallon went to Solaris, Zan went and did whatever for decades. Or maybe not decades, a decade and a few years. Then you say influential person number 2 would be Fallon's mentor, Alaric, who's a person who taught a projection. He was the father figure for her. He looked after her, brought her up into a young adult until they were forced into their own separate ways. Then after that, Fallon was left drifting for a while until eventually she settled back down, and then she got messed up again with Orion Michaels, who you might know him as Mr. Knight's Squire, who likes to Mr. Dr. Love, I think, was one of the titles he was given. And he, Fallon and Orion knew each other when they were both younger as well. So him being around Fallon influenced her a little bit. Fallon joined the Knights. Fallon was influenced by the Knights. She got the Ideas of Honour. She got more combat hardened. She was more confident with like using a blade and moving out the scholarly mindset. The next person after that would then be, I said I wouldn't mention him ever again, Ren May, who then took her away into the Scars, and then Zandelia came back. So there's this sort of cycle of circles and things, and then, you know, there isn't, I would say, one singular person, because Fallon's life is very much made up of many influential people, many influential points, even in the most minor of ways. There's lots of things which define her and lots of events, you know. I would compare it to a big weave. You know, Fallon's life is a big weave of people weaving in and out of her life and making up a big tapestry. As for those who could make the potential for the biggest impacts, I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that, because really at the end of the day it depends on how I write it. I would say maybe out of character, you know, that's metagaming? I wouldn't even call it that. It's being an influence and not letting things happen, but I've still got to write what's going to happen. So I think it depends on who Fallon associates herself with. If she doesn't, when she gets to Zaltiva, doesn't find a stable level and recover and all the stuff from Sunbirth, then, you know, she's her own influence equally. But the other way is also her own influence. It depends entirely who interacts with her, who does what happens, and if she grows and comes out and develops from it. And that's character development in itself, you know, taking little bits of influence here and there. Yeah, you're going to take more influence, admittedly, from, and I'm trying to think of a word and I can't think of it. You're going to be more influenced by someone that you know really well, so, you know, than some random drop on the street. You know, and you're also going to be more influenced by people who have higher social standing, higher positions, and etc, etc. So there's going to be loads of things which make an impact, but it generally all depends on how it plays out. There is no one single answer. Now I've given all wordy answers for everything, I'm going to have some silly questions, courtesy again from various others. Perplexity and Craig. I'm running out of power, let me put my plug thing in. Perplexity asked me, tuna or salmon? I'm not a fish person, but I imagine Fallon would like salmon over, you know, for the decadence, but she'd be quite happy with tuna. Yes, I do like potatoes, because that was another question. I don't like them mashed, but Fallon likes potatoes as well. Custard and ice cream, I'm an ice cream person. That's the most important question there. I'm glad you stayed around for the vlog, because that's all you ever need to know about me. Nothing more, that's it. Okay, you can close the vlog off now. That's the answer. To custard or ice cream, it's ice cream. Craig then asked what colour makes Fallon shudder. Colour without a U, I hasten to add, and leave my level of disgust, because colour is spelled with a U. I don't really know. I want to say pussy yellow, because pussy yellow looks horrible. And also, if a woodchuck could chuck wood, would a woodchuck chuck wood? There's too many anomalies in there. Fallon would have to see the woodchuck and conduct measurements and take full-scale understanding, and also have multiple tests with it. She would also then need to construct tables, graphs, and all sorts of manner of figures, which she hasn't yet got the skills to do, so this might take a while to work out. Come back in 5 years. More questions. Oh yeah, Fallon's 2 years old in relation to this. How does it make you feel to have had Fallon for 2 years? Surprised that she actually lasted this long. I'm always expecting some like thunderbolt or something to come down and strike her down in the middle of something ridiculous like. I'm just waiting for it to happen. Something's going to happen and I'm waiting for it, and it's a ticking bomb. But you know, other than that, it's quite pleasing. stressful at times, and sometimes you think, oh, I've had enough, I want to give up, let me go and die now. But it's fine. It's quite an achievement. I feel achieved that I managed to keep it going. She's gotten a lot of adventures. She's certainly grown from what my original concept was, which was I'm going to be a scholar and I'm going to, like, you know, not be particularly violent. I'll be violent enough to protect myself, but I won't have any rage issues or anything like that. I won't have any horrible scarring or tortures or horrible fearful memories or whatever. That went out the window very quickly. The question, what's an impossible goal that you can see Fallon chasing? What's the reuniting Sunbirth under one banner a good enough impossible goal? It depends really what Fallon knows. If you take the common sense of what you know is what you've got laws on and what you've got skill points in, then that could be multiple things. It's still not a lot. It's still not going to be the grand, I want to go and get Aquarius's heart and fix him and get rid of Sagittarius. Saggy. I'll call him that for the moment. Because Fallon doesn't know that. She knows the skill. She doesn't know Saggy or Aquarius, and she probably won't anytime soon. If, say, for instance, she knew all these wonderful things, I'm not really sure what an impossible goal would count as. I jokingly say let's make her a god, but we know that will never happen. But yeah, I think I'd like to do the Aquarius questing, because that sounds like fun, and that'll be Fallon's impossible goal. More realistically, I want to go with ruin raiding. So if you ever find some Nakamata, I'll put a link to the lore in the bottom of this so we know what I'm talking about. Ruins. Now let's go. Fallon will totally go with you 100% of the way, even if there's nothing gained from it in the end. Next question. I'm going to select tea as well before I do more. Okay, next question. If you knew what you knew now, would you have made Fallon differently? Probably not, because I'm a person who does things as they are, because it's the adventure, really, and what Fallon has gone through in character, I don't think it would be... I'm trying to think of a way to word this. I like Fallon as she is, and she's a fun character. Admittedly, at times I want to throttle my own character and squeeze her, but I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's experience. If I knew what I knew now then Fallon would have a completely different turnout, you know. And but my logic would be pre-creation stuff, which then doesn't feel to me as real because it's pre-creation. You get more. I feel you get more if things like this are developed in character in the present day. Start simple, make it bigger as you go along. Another question from Perky as well is, what has Fallon taken away from her experience in Sunbirth? I'll quickly explain the Sunbirth bit. Sunbirth is because we found an old Mizahar map and it has Sunbirth on it instead of Sunbirth. So we now are very posh Zaltivans and we call it Sunbirth. What does Fallon take away from experience in Sunbirth? It's horrible, it's filthy, it's full of mud, it's full of people trying to kill you, and you need to be very good at fighting or else you will fall into a gutter and die. Also, it's very good to have a healthy level of paranoia, but also have someone you can cuddle to at night. Also, they hate mages, and it smells a lot. Sunbirth is a beast at the end of the day. One of the more but it's a very fluid beast. It's not a raging animal thing. It's a flowing unit that's always changing, like the tides, like the moon. To me, that's how Sunbirth is. It's chaotic, but it's not destructive chaotic, but is at the same time. Buildings are built, buildings are destroyed, and everything in between. It's a living, breathing entity in a different way as opposed to a city, other cities even. And it's got that uniqueness about it, where things can change in a season if you really wanted it to change, if the people really wanted it to change. Whereas in places, say for instance, you have the other end of the spectrum, Silurus, Zaltiva. You could even have Ravok in that list. I know it's run by the god of chaos and evil and all the rest, but Ravok still has some form of stability. You wouldn't, something to cause that level of chaos and fluidity wouldn't be done in a season. It would be done over years. That's the sort of what I've learned as well out of character as well as in character. Sunbirth is unique in its own way because of that. That probably sounded like a lot of twittering, so I'm going to move on to the next question. Berkey and Treacle have both asked this. What are Fallon's plans for Zaltiva, and also the addendum of, is she going to blow it up? Not on purpose. Fallon's probably going to end up being that one poor soul that accidentally throws a burning match after lighting her tobacco pipe onto something flammable. I'm not intentionally going out to hurt things. Plans for Zaltiva: open up the business, join the university, work on secret plot, which none of you can know about yet. Watch this space, it will be good fun. Other than that, recover mentally, physically and emotionally from the strain of Sunbirth, because that's done a number on her, and I need recovery time as well. And, you know, that's it. Fallon's plot has gone very simple and nice and clean, and I'm going to revel in every minute of it, because, hey, you need to have downtime with your characters where you can actually let them heal, recover and calm down. Now two more treachery questions. Treachery asks, is my hair as soft as it looks? I have been told yes. It feels a bit knotty to me at the moment, but I have been told that it's very soft and it feels like shrinking puppy fur. Very long haired puppy fur, but puppy fur nevertheless. Another one would be, how would Fallon react if she met that journeyman again, only to discover he had gotten lost and needed more directions? More explaining with this. In summer 513, Fallon and Craig, when they were squires, got sent off to the caverns. Those caverns in the Bronze Woods, I can't say. And they came across a journeyman, and Fallon gave it directions to Sahova, because Fallon rage quit and went, I've had enough of this, and went, get out of Silurus, or we're going to have disappointments and discussions, and I'm going to be very angry with you. Craig very cleverly chose not to interrupt, but I think Fallon would probably give it directions again to Sahova, and then put a note onto it saying, if lost or if found, please return to Sahova, you know, because Fallon's not taking any more chances. Should probably pin it to it somehow. The other option is, if found, please return to, and probably write her current location and then send it away again. You know, Fallon wouldn't like that, I don't think. I think she'd be a bit annoyed. That's about it. Yeah, that's the journeyman story. We're at 19 minutes 25 seconds. I've waffled this long. I think this is going to be my longest vlog, and I've still got questions to go. Caleb asked me an interesting question, because I've been looking into this and I want to do it, but I need to find out how to do it. I know how to do it, but it's getting that out of character to icy bridge idea. It's the planting of the idea into the character outside of the, you just want to do this. I always have to, I like reasonings for things, and this is one of those things where I feel like you need a reason, or your character needs to somehow come across it. And this is past life and reincarnation. It fascinates me anyway, like from our character's perspective, so we can discuss that. Not now. But Caleb asked, I'd like you to give a 3-sentence bio of a past life. I'm going to guess, to, describing my character, probably we've got the toss up between, we know it's going to be male. I've decided this has got decided on a coin flip. It's going to be a guy, because why not? Probably human. I'm toying with possibly a Kelvic wolf that then goes with Fallon's current title of the Red Wolf, and probably an ex-warrior of some sort, or a failed warrior, or guard, or something. That's about it. I've got a loose concept, which is stuff keeps happening, and because of that, every life there's this obsession with change, or to bring change, or to change something. So in the past life it was, I wanted to change something, I failed at changing something, new life. It's going round and around. That's my current loose concept. I'm still working it out. Someone will probably thunderbolt me down if I can't do that. I'm hoping someone will thunderbolt me down if I can't do that, because I need to know these things, and I think it works. I think it works in a nice way, because then it's sort of, the change isn't then, or bringing change and things like that, which then goes with Fallon's obsession with the scars, and why she stayed at it for so long was that she wanted to bring change. Is that after a while you realise that it's not actually about bringing change to the world, but it's actually spiritual change, so spiritual enlightenment, spiritual growth. But each past life keeps failing to do this, which I suppose is Lex's fault. We'll blame Lex. Another question. As we all know, I have an alt. Well, not all of us know. I have an alt. We have Zidrunas, Lord of the Dance, who is a Danny who dances. I'm not going to demonstrate his dance, because I have the equivalent of dancing with a potato. I cannot dance. This hamster can dance better than me. It's a stuffed animal. But the way I imagine it is very rhythmic. So I'm very tribal, very rhythmic, but more desert tribal. Lots of colour and lots of paint. I have this image that if Zid is actually going to do proper rain dancing, he will buy lots of body paint and he will slap it all over him, and he will make himself as vibrant and colourful as possible, and he would go out and he would dance. You might even strip everything off and do it. But this is Zid, and very strong, not wishy-washy, very grab, pull, very literal movements, very this is what I want. Bring it here, I'm colourful, I'm a big powerful target, come to me, bring me the rain. And being as loud as possible with it. That's just how I imagine it. Final question before I do the famous R-snap. Yari, that Zith, lovely lady, who I made a template for, she knows who she is. To all of you doing vlogs, what type of threads do you hate to write or have the most difficult time writing? Why? I've come and grown. I've done this sort of cycle thing myself, that when I left Siluris, I hated social threads. Went to Sunbirth, did loads of combat threads. I now hate combat threads and really like social threads. So I'm presently finding a lot of hard time writing combat threads. It's because you run out of descriptions. I feel like she swung her sword, she swung her right tool, she swung her left tool, she brought it piercing it. I get weaponry, but I'm not really sure what I can do with it as well. So it's sort of deciding between, can I do this, can I do that? Would that work? Is that within my power? Oh, this is becoming tiring. It's taken me 2 hours to write 300 words. That I feel when you have to write combat threads, you have to have a level of clinical precision with it, because if you leave any sort of grey area of where or what you're going to do, I can be interpreted in so many ways and so many wrong ways. I think that's really what's gotten to me at the end of the day, is that I have to be so clinical with it, which has probably tired me out. Probably after a year in Celtiva, I'll be like, yes, combat threads, let's go do them. And I'll hate social threads again. We'll have to see on that one. Maybe I'll find a happy medium balance eventually. Maybe, possibly. Okay, 26 minutes. Okay, R-Snap. The R-Snap is named after your age. It's similar to the Z-Snap, as we discussed. It was jokingly said about chat because Ray is about to be as sassy as possible to Fallon, because Fallon has also been sassy to Ray. This is Fallon, and this is Ray, obviously. They're unleashing their inner soul woman here, or whatever the equivalent is, and go... Anyway, the R-Snap, as I expressed it on chat, was you start at the top, move that to the centre of the screen, you do the curve, snap, go down the first leg, snap, go back up, snap, go straight down, snap, and then snap, snap. So if you do that all at once, you go R-Snap. That's my fingers. Yeah. For all your intents and pleasures, we now have a nearly 30-minute long vlog from me. Hope you enjoyed that. See you around again, Mr. High. If you didn't understand a single thing I said, I'm very sorry, but you're going to have to ask me on chat to translate my horrible gibberish in British. TTFN and ta-ta from the hamster.